all the change that's happening externally?
Well, change is normal, and as humans, we often shy away from it. We don't like change, but actually, I think change is good. And even in the midst of our uncertain economic times, that's a great opportunity for us to dig deep within ourselves to find out, well, what is it that I'm not doing that I think I should be doing? Because what can you lose? I mean, we're already in turmoil. Let's just throw the ball up there. And see what happens.
Why not? What's another ball to juggle?
There are things that you might be interested in, but you're afraid to look into because it's not the norm or it's not the path that others have said that you should take.
Or you're not sure what's going to happen.
Right, you don't know what's going to happen, but I know for a fact that I'm in a field that I never went to college for. So it just happens the way it's supposed to happen, I believe. And if you just do what you're supposed to do, be good and right in your doing, it will all work out in the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think that turmoil and change, whether it's financial or economic or emotional or personal, it's really a blessing because it's when the greatest personal change occurs. And so if you're in a job or a career and it's, being struck with financial difficulties and everybody's running around like a chicken with their head cut off and there's potentially going to be layoffs, and that is creating disturbance within you, then that's an opportunity for you to say, what do I really want to do and who do I really want to be? And maybe this isn't the right place for me. And I think in a time where a lot of companies are having layoffs, I have seen the greatest personal change from human beings who have been laid off.
Absolutely.
Because they didn't have the courage to say, this isn't exactly what I want to do, I'm not in the right place, and it became a blessing, and they started their own company, or they did something really courageous. And so I think it's a blessing to be put into turmoil because it forces you to reevaluate what you're doing, because when things are going really well, we all have a tendency as women to say, this is great, this is awesome, I love this, and something inside is saying, this is not awesome, I really don't like this. And so it just take it as a blessing and use it.
And sometimes I think as women, we stay places too long.
Absolutely.
We have to decide, when we know that it's not fulfilling, we will stay because of the children, because of the spouse, because of whatever. But I think we need to make those decisions. We know when it's not right. We know when it's time to move on. You have to take that, I call it the quantum leap sometimes. Do you remember that show that came on television?
Yeah.
The person would be enjoying or doing something, and then all of a sudden he would be leaping into another environment. But, we can be successful in those new environments too.
Yeah, I always say that there's only one thing that's different between women who are successful and women who are successful and happy, and that is women who are successful and happy were willing to walk away from something.
Absolutely.
Something that they gave up, they said they weren't happy, and I think you'll see that if you really ask the tough questions, is what are you willing to walk away from, because there's probably something greater on the other side if you can dig deep and find the courage to walk away from whatever it is that's not bringing you happiness.
Oh, I love that.
To make raspberry jam at the age of 3. And one of the things that I've taken with me through my life and through my career is the fact that you have to constantly challenge yourself to try something new, try something different. My parents taught me that clearly at a young age to try things and figure out what you like, what you don't like. They challenged me even when it was scary, like this picture up at the top where that's a bay in Long Island. Actually, I think it was the Long Island Sound that had frozen over, and my father said, "It's fine."
Of course it would be a man. It's like, just go, the worst is you fall in and die. Don't worry.
And any of you who know me in the audience, I'm like that with everybody. It'll be fine, just go. But that's something that I've taken with me in my career, to, even if it's scary, to try new things. And whether it's at the age of 35, I signed up and took a class for crewing down the James River, rowing my first regatta at 36. So constantly trying new things, and not just in your personal life, but in your professional life as well. I remember the first time that I took this message to try new things and to challenge myself into my professional career, and I was 25 years old. I was working for a staffing company, and I saw I had set goals for myself. I had said, by the age of 26, I'm going to make this amount of money, and I'm going to have this type of management experience, and this is what I'm going to do. And one of my coworkers, I was a branch manager at the time, one of my coworkers decided to leave, who was a branch manager of another office. And I took the weekend, went home, I strategized, I said, this has to be an opportunity somehow for me to make more money and to get more experience. And so I spent that weekend typing up a plan, and absolutely petrified, so scared to challenge myself, but I did it. Monday morning I walked into the owner's office and I said, I have a plan. I think you shouldn't hire that additional branch manager. I think I should manage both offices. I think we can restructure a little bit here and there. Look at how much money you're going to save. We'll be more effective. And by the way, you're going to pay me $15,000. And he said, okay. And I said,
Agency, is that
Yeah,
correct?
so I've been at the Martin Agency for 11 years, only place I ever wanted to work, and absolutely love it. And reached a very pinnacle position in the agency where I was one of two people responsible for the team that ran the Walmart account. So that's me in the middle with all these people that I was responsible for around me. And the interesting thing about this picture is anybody who looked at the picture from the outside would say that I was very successful. And I had that put on me by external people. Like, oh, you must be so happy. This is so amazing. You're so successful. And that was when I would go, yes. And inside I was going, no, I am not successful. Because it wasn't really what I wanted to do. It's what everybody else wanted me to do. And so I went along with it. And I had a very catalytic moment in my life where over Christmas break one year I was home for 2 weeks with my children and my husband. And he said, you don't seem like you're looking forward to going back to work. And I said, well, I just really struggle with trying to be a good wife, a good mother, and a good employee all at the same time. And that's really, really hard for me. And he said, what is so wrong with being you? Why can't you just be yourself? And as clear as day, in my head, I said to myself, I don't like myself. And I heard this voice, and I was like, who said that? And he said, why don't you just be you? And I said, I don't like me. And then I was like, well, why don't I like myself? Everybody thinks I'm so successful. And but I got really still, and I took a lot of time to myself to just sit and think with nobody else's opinions in a dark room by myself with no influence. And I realized through that process that I wasn't being me, so I stopped liking me. It was very clear that I was in this game, in this life, for everybody's benefit except for my own. And by stop being myself, it was very clear that I just didn't like myself. And that's when I decided to make a change, because it wasn't. It was working for everybody except
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
Everybody.
That's a great statement, though. When I stopped being me, I stopped liking me. That's quite profound. Well, it didn't, though. Obviously, this was a huge external achievement, and you still, I'm sure, reaped a lot of benefits from that you can bring forward. But then you said, here's some other photographs and snapshots about that time. So tell us what's going on here.
Well, part of what I learned was that, and I read a lot of self-help books, I will say, that it's the only genre of books I read. So whenever anybody says, what are you reading? I'm like, no, you don't want to know. It's very disturbing for my husband. You should read a trashy romance novel. Anyway, Martha Beck, who's a well-known life coach, talks about that you have your essential self and your social self. And my life was led through my social self. So I acted in a manner that would be pleasing to other people, pleasing to the external world. And so once I had two babies, that's my daughter and son, Layla and Alex, I really made a commitment to myself to start acting through my essential self, meaning what do I really want and what really makes me happy. And it takes a lot of work to figure out who your essential self is. And I started to reevaluate and say, what is success for me? Because clearly I had reached a pinnacle of my career that looked like it was successful, but it wasn't. So what is success for me? So if I want to change the lives of mothers around the world. So it only once I did that work was I able to say, now what job do I want to have? You have to figure out who you are before you figure out what type of job that you want. And once you figure that out, and once I figured that out, I was able to defend other people's opinions off. So I would still go to meetings and people would say, well, we want you to do this, and we want you to do that. And I would say, you're not negotiating in a currency that is meaningful to me. You want me to do something and you're going to pay me more money? I don't want more money. I want impact. So if you want to give me a project that will help me impact the lives of women and moms, I will do that. And guess what? You only have to pay me more money. So you're not talking about a currency that is meaningful to me. And as soon as you make that clear, people will start negotiating with you in a currency that is meaningful to you.
These are great pictures. I love these pictures, don't you? These snapshots, it's like, they just tell so much. We've got another one here from Wanda, and this is where she took higher ground to a whole new meaning, right? Wanda, tell us what's happening in this picture.
Well, I apologize first for not having some of the baby pictures. I went to the inauguration this week, and I have a head cold, and this is all I could really find. But I think what I would like to say before I tell a little bit about the picture is what keep hearing here about being your authentic self, knowing who you are. And sometimes for women, and I'll say single women too, sometimes we have to do things alone. And sometimes we are frightened. We don't want to do it because we want somebody to do it with it. We could do this if we had a significant other. We could do this if we had this person. But sometimes you really have to go it alone. And I think that song, I Gotta Be Me, I'll go it alone. That's how it must be. I can't be right for somebody else. If I'm not right for me, I gotta be me. So I think you have to think about, kind of doing some things on your own and knowing who you are. So this was December 2007, and I thought I would go to Las Vegas. I didn't go to Las Vegas to go to the casinos. I really wanted to go to the Grand Canyon and the Hoover Dam. And so when I was there, I was just caught in the awe of how celestial, how heavenly things were. Oh, and I was just trying to drawn to a side there. And I said, gosh, this must be where my family is, the ones who have gone on, because it was just so beautiful. So I was just taking in the moment. And then there came a snowstorm. I couldn't believe it. All of a sudden, and all I could do was just with that hat pulled down over my head and the hood, try to make it back to the bus. And I think that's how life can be. Sometimes we get a glimpse of the beauty, but that's all it is, a glimpse. And we have to work our way back to reality, a firm footing. And that's what I did. But I think we need to take time, birthdays, quiet times for ourselves, whether it's with our girlfriends, our significant other, or whomever, family, I think, to have those times of reflection. And then that's what I did.
Let's give all these wonderful women a round of applause.